Hello everyone, my name is Damien Salgado, and this is the prototype of my game I'm going to call, or tentatively, Last Conquest. The premise of the game is a deck building game, and the way it's going to play out, essentially, well, let me explain the pieces first. You'll have a main deck here, and you will have a 5 card lineup. I just have placement holders for the general idea, but your cards that I have a crude model here, you have an attack card type and a defense card type. I'm possibly thinking of other card types, but for now, this is what I have. The image will be on the card of whatever to kind of go with the title. So this one's for an attack, it's a Sword Master. The attack on this card will be choose a player. That player must discard 2 cards. So that would be your attack when you played this card. And it gives you a power of +2, which is your currency, which relates to this. To purchase this card, it'll cost you 3 power. And then a defense card type, phalanx, so obviously a picture of a phalanx or some kind of Roman formation. And a defense would be when any player attacks, you may discard this card and draw 2 more cards. And you'll put this into your discard pile. You don't currently have to be in turn. If a player's attacking you and you have a defense card in your hand, you can utilize it. And again, gives you a certain a certain economy. And obviously, these would be other attack and defense cards or other card types if I decide to do so. This card over here is your event card type. It doesn't necessarily have to be over here. You can kind of place it where you want it, but it'll be a world event. And it'll kind of be something that the game is putting forth to all the players. And it might affect some players more than others. For this instance, it's a meteor shower. So if a player does not purchase a card from the lineup, so if that player's turn and they don't purchase a card from the lineup because they can't, all players must then discard a card. So in essence, it's kind of relying on one person, but that person might affect the rest. And this event card will change when people can get rid of it. So you'll have to build up your deck to eventually be able to have 10 power to basically eliminate this event from happening. And you can then obtain this card, hold it in your deck, and have a power of +5. You won't have any effects that you can play, but you can have a higher power than what most cards will have. So that's the benefit of getting this card and ending the event. Also, having it not affect you if another player is not buying from the lineup. And that's a type of an event that would essentially affect players early on. Okay, well that's the lineup and the main deck. On to the actual player format. Well, a player will start with 10 starter cards, and I put 5 here to kind of just demonstrate that. And then they'll have a hand that they draw from that, not knowing, shuffled, 5 cards. 3 placeholders here, because the main starter cards will essentially consist of a starter card in itself, which is just a power of +1, and a lack of focus card, or like a vulnerability card, kind of a weakness, with no power, just a placeholder. So it won't allow you to hold more power. So you'll start in the deck itself, you'll have 4 of these and 6 of the starter cards with a power of +1. So that when you draw, you can draw a power of +5 if you get lucky, and then you can buy from the lineup essentially a high-powered card early on. But kind of gives some chance in there for how the deck plays out. On to the main piece of your player in itself and who you're playing as. So I just wrote up 2 different cards here. I have the other player kind of lined up of how it would look like as far as you and another one. And this can be up to 5 people be able to play. At least that's what I'm planning. And you can set that up round table kind of thing. But I'll pull this one over here. These are examples of what would be 2 warrior cards. I have the image of a character. The cost is 0 because you can't purchase these. You'll just shuffle up and give them out at the beginning, or choose however you decide to do that. But these are warrior cards, and for instance, I just kind of mythological or classical conquerors and things of that nature is what I'm going with. So Alexander the Great would be one, and Anubis would be another. And they would have abilities. And these abilities are effective immediately. They're always in effect as long as you do what they say. Now, of course, I need to probably refine the words so it's easily understandable. But for instance, Alexander, upon successful attack on player, draw an additional card from the deck, from your deck. Which, like I just said, I probably need to refine that to say from your deck. But yeah, so if you get an attack card, you're able to buy probably your next go around or two go arounds because you're gonna have a discard pile. If you play an attack card and it's successful, they don't defend it. You can draw an additional card from your deck. Kind of giving that theme to Alexander being a person of having troops and having a successful conquest. He can get more troops out of it, things like that. Anubis, being a kind of a Lord of the Dead Egyptian god, ability would be upon successful attack on a player, draw an additional card from the discard pile. So kind of raise the dead sort of theme there. But same thing, it just plays on the same premise but a little different because now it's going to play off your discard pile and from what you have in there. And that would be if you can draw an additional card of your choosing because now to how the hand would play. I'm going to put Alexander back over there. So let's say I'm Anubis. My first draw, and obviously beginning of the game, roll a dice, rock, paper, scissors, whatever you need to do to determine who goes first and go clockwise from there. Unless a warrior card determines such, unless it says ability, you go first at the start of the game or something like that. But for now, with Anubis, I have my 5 cards. I draw from my deck to start of my turn. Now, for instance, if I were to play and I had 2 of these lack of focus cards and 3 of the starter cards, I would have a power of +3. All right, well, I can't really attack. I don't have any attack cards. I can't really do much. I plan on buying from the lineup. So I would look, and obviously these would be different cards, and I would see, hey, okay, I got an attack here that's cost 3 that I could purchase. All right, I'm going to purchase this one. So I purchase it. Add it to my pile, my deck. I can't do anything else on my turn. What will happen is all of these cards now go in here and go over here to my left, and that would be my discarded pile. They would face up to show difference between the deck, obviously face down. And on that turn, I didn't attack, so no effect for my warrior. I did buy from the lineup, so the event doesn't affect anyone. And I'm going to say my turn's done. Well, first I would draw the remaining 5 cards, have a new hand, and replenish the lineup. I would take from the deck and replenish there. And then end my turn. Turn to other player. And that would go pretty much around and around. As you build up from the deck, you build up more power. Now, that's how a turn would play out. What your goal is going to be, though, is certain attack cards in here are going to be to destroy other players' cards. And you will then have a destroyed card pile over here or wherever you can put it on this side if you wanted to, but basically a destroyed card pile. Now you would try to eliminate the other player's cards entirely. That would be the premise of the game for as far as winning's concerned, or until the lineup runs out. Now if the lineup runs out, the way a winner would be determined is by highest adding up the cost of cards purchased, and highest would win, basically meaning you kind of played a better deck. I might refine that a bit and add maybe another economy to determine that or something, but for now that's what I thought would be a good kind of tiebreaker if it came down to that, because if the lineup kind of runs out, and you might just wind up going in circles and the game might last too long. So when the deck runs out, You can kind of call it and determine by an accumulative number, higher wins. But that's a basic playthrough of Last Conquest. Hope it sounds good, and I look forward to refining it and making it something that's actually playable. All right, thank you.